What's it say?
Well, it says, I love it when a plan comes together.
What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Preseason game number 2. Everybody played, and it was glorious. We're going to talk about it, but first, every hero needs their theme music.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Yeah. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so sit your all up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Them Morant spiking, let's go.
Let's go.
He thinks you're Santa Claus. I am.
Yes, that's how we all reacted when we saw Santi Aldama start burying three-pointers from beyond the arc with the starters against the Orlando Magic. We were all shocked. And I could tell you like this, no matter how much Coach Jenkins, the Grizzlies players, Santi Aldama, Summer League, G League, no matter how much all of that said, nothing, and I do mean nothing, could prepare me for the transformation of Santi Aldama into a viable NBA player, one that is capable of starting on a winning team in the NBA by year 2. Nothing could have prepared me for this. Nothing. Now, Santi Aldama had a very, very good game. It wasn't just about his shooting, which is the main thing, but like I've told you in previous Santi Aldama videos, the main problem with Santi all last season was he could not make shots. He couldn't finish around the basket. He couldn't make shots from the outside. And that's what they needed from him. So they let him percolate. They let him cook in the G League. They got him ready in the offseason. He showed his promise in the Summer League. And now in the preseason of the NBA, he is showing that he is a viable NBA player. I mean, it is a Christmas miracle. And it is just October. But man, if I wish you guys could see me, I got on my blue Santa Claus hat, ready to go to celebrate this Santi Aldama revelation. And I've told you guys even from last season that the one thing that the Grizzlies needed was a great value Jaren Jackson. A guy who can hit shots and protect the rim off the bench. Doesn't have to do everything Jaren Jackson does, but somebody who can be a reasonable facsimile when Jaren Jackson is on the bench. And lo and behold, that guy was already on the Grizzlies bench this whole damn time. Zach Kleiman has worked a miracle. He has drafted 2 guys, traded up to the 30th pick in 2 consecutive drafts, and got guys who might be starters for opening day before their rookie contract is up. That's crazy. I'm willing to bet that has never happened in the NBA, ever. That 2 guys drafted number 30 in consecutive drafts are starting before their rookie contracts are up. Guarantee it's never happened in the NBA. It has not. This is a testament to the Grizz drafting department, scouting department, and their development staff. This is a whole organizational effort. And it couldn't come at a better time when Jaren Jackson is going to miss a few games because of injury. They have somebody they just pluck out the G League and stick in there, and he makes stuff happen. He looked very comfortable in his role as the starting power forward with the starters. Very comfortable. Able to spread the floor. Now, he wasn't perfect. He still has to deal with increase his physicality on defense. He still has to increase his physicality with the ball, driving it to the goal. But he's just 21 years old. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of, I guess, we kind of forget that Santi is still a young guy. I mean, he's big, he's mature, and he was in school for 2 years. And it just, we get the sense that he's got this Desmond Bane thing going where he was a 4-year guy, but he's just 21. He is a young cat. So this was very promising. Now, we're going to move on from Santi because we've talked about him a lot. But there's so much to break down about this game, and I'm going to get to all of it before the next game that we play in Miami. But the second thing I want to focus on in this video is Ja Morant's defense and intensity. Now, you guys know what I've already said about Ja Morant this season. I have him pegged for the MVP of the league, and what he showed me in his first game of this season was nothing short of spectacular. It is exactly what I expected to see. I expected him to be taking this season seriously from the start to the finish. Now, y'all have to remember, Ja Morant has $30 million on the line this season to make All-NBA. He ain't got time to BS around. He does not have time to play. He does not have time for the Grizzlies to have an off season just because Jaren Jackson is out. He's not looking for excuses. And if you remember during Coach Jenkins' media availability, somebody asked him about Ja Morant and what he had to improve. And Jenkins did not want to say the exact thing that Ja Morant wanted to improve, but you now have seen it. It is defensive intensity. Ja Morant has the size, the length, the wingspan, and the athleticism to be a factor on defense. The only thing was his effort level and his intensity and his attention to detail. And if last night was any indication, he is up for the task. And if the Grizzlies can lessen his burden offensively, he will be able to keep that energy up all season and become an effective defender. We're not asking Ja Morant to become a defensive stopper on the defensive end. If he just becomes an average defender, that is what Tyus Jones was when Ja Morant was out. He was just average. If he could just become an average defender, I think he turns the Grizzlies up into another level. Now, the other thing I want to get into is the rotation. The rotation. We saw Santi Aldama with the starters, and I can see the vision of what it's going to be when Jaren Jackson gets back. Jaren Jackson and Santi Aldama are going to be the mirror. Steven Adams and Brandon Clark are going to be the mirror. And then you're going to have Tyus and Ja, obviously. And then you got Zaire Williams and Conchar interchanging with Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bane. And if you ask me, there is no drop-off from what we had last season. Zaire Williams is much better. John Conchar should be better. Santi Aldama is going to be better and going to provide more shooting than we got from Kyle Anderson. Now, he won't be able to provide the defense and the ball handling that Kyle Anderson did, but he does have the passing, and he's bigger, and he's also a rim protector like Kyle Anderson. He's going to provide a lot of the things that Kyle Anderson did, and he's going to make up for the shortcomings with his increased shooting, because teams are going to have to get out on Santi Aldama. He is going to be in the opponent's scouting report within a week. You're going to see him burst onto the scene in the first couple of weeks of the season, maybe. But within a week, he's going to be on the scouting reports of other teams, and he's not going to get those open looks. But you know what's going to happen? It's going to give Ja Morant a little bit more room on his drives. And if you can see the long-term vision of closing lineups, of how the options that the Grizzlies are going to have with closing lineups, we know Jaren Jackson's going to close. But if you have problems and you need some more rebounding and to go on your team, you just keep Steven Adams in there to close out games. If you need some athleticism, you got Brandon Clark. If you want to spread it out and go 5 wide and have Ja Morant attacking a wide open lane, you can have Jaren Jackson and Santi Aldama in the game. And you also got so much shooting coming off the bench. You got Conchar, Jake LaRavia, Zaire Williams, Tyus Jones. You're going to have a lot of shooting in that second unit. And this does not even include David Roddy. This does not even include Xavier Tillman. This does not even include Snack Jesus or Kenneth Lofton Jr. These are the guys that they're going to have to keep fighting in practice on a daily basis to get into the rotation, because you saw the 10-man rotation that Jenkins is going to use, and I don't know who's going to fall out of it when Jaren gets back, but I don't think it's going to be Santi Aldama. Now, it's just a matter of, is it going to, my guess is it's going to be between John Conchar and Jake LaRavia. And if I was Jake LaRavia, I would be playing my ass off. And you saw him doing it last night, increasing his volume on his three-point attempts. He's got to put the shots up. 7 attempts is great. That's where he needs to be. About 7 attempts per game off the bench, and he is in the sweet spot for what the team needs him to do. Now, John Conchar provides other things like rebounding, defense, but, oh man, I'm going to talk about this team defensive thing tomorrow because I was just really impressed with that. But for right now, this video is getting a little bit long, and I'm just going to cut it off right here. But there was a lot of things from last night's game that we got to talk about as Grizzly fans, because I saw a lot of good things out of that game, and I'm going to find some bad things to talk about. And I'm going to talk about those right before we play Miami. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to go live during the Miami game or if I want to go see the new terrace level standing room only section that they have Friday, during the Miami preseason game. I'm still deciding. You guys, let me know what you're going to do Friday and how did you enjoy that second preseason game with the starters playing. Let me know in the comment section what you thought, and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and we're going to have another video tomorrow, and it's going to be about that team and individual defense a little bit more, but that's tomorrow. Peace.